Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here in Vegas and delighted to be joined by Tyson Fury's brother, Shane Fury. Shane, first and foremost, how are you? How have you been? How's your time in Vegas been?
We've not really done much. I've never left the house at all, apart and going to the gym with, a couple of times a day, and that's it. Going jogging. So it's not been too good.
I'm sure after Saturday you can celebrate. Tyson's Tyson. We've seen him there at the Grand Arrival. He's joking, he's laughing. He seems in a very positive place. You spent time with him in Vegas. You spent time with him back in the UK and stuff like that. How has his mindset been? Has he always been positive? Has it been cliche to say the best camp so far, obviously with the cancellations, but has this been a positive and the best camp Tyson's been so far?
What, through his career?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
I don't know. Listen, it's been good, but the last Wilder camp was a very good camp. Everything went perfect. But this has had no complications at all. There's normally injuries, or his shoulders hurt and his knees hurt, and there's normally something, but there's been nothing. So it's all gone good. Sparrings went well. There's been there's no excuses at all, none at all. But listen, people saying about with his daughter in hospital, the baby in hospital and that there, but the training camp never began. The training camp started after, so it was it's perfect. And the time where it might have been a week or two late the training camp, but that's worked out in the better because he's fresh and there's no worries of going over the hill.
Talk to me about the fight itself then. Deontay Wilder's brought in Malik Scott. We've seen Instagram videos of him do a bit more technical on the pads rather than just doing the 1-2 bang. He looks very more technical. It seems like Malik is trying to teach him how to box rather than just be a fighter. What kind of game plan are you expecting? What kind of fight are you expecting on Saturday night?
Well, I for me, I don't think. I think. You see, I don't know Mark Breland, but if I was to pick any of the two of them to train me, not to train me, but to train someone, I'd be picking Mark Breland. And I'm sure he's worked on. I'm sure he never done nothing in the last training camp. And he would have been up for it last training camp because the fight before that he got beat. I know it was a draw, but if you watch the video, it was quite clear and cut that he did get beat. The stuff that they are working on, from my opinion, the main factor. Do you want me to hold that?
No, it's fine.
The main factor of Deontay Wilder, I've said it before, years before Tyson fought him, was his awkwardness. And that long the way we can close the distance, land the right hand, and so on. But if he's going to be boxing, trying to hook the body and so on, it's going to be much more easy for Tyson. And what I'm seeing in the gym with Tyson now, he's a total different fighter. Don't know if it's for better or worse, but he's a different fighter. He's a big man, 19 stone. He can punch. He's strong. And he's got the nuts to actually do it. So what I'm seeing, it's a total different Tyson Fury.
Tyson spoke about stopping Wilder earlier than last time, before 7 rounds. I mean, like I say, you sort of speak your mind as similar to what Tyson does. How do you see this fight going? Does Tyson stop him early?
Well, again, a long-winded answer. You asked any of us a question. It's a 4-hour job, but where before Tyson was known as a non-puncher, if there was a circle there with a power measure on it, Tyson would hit as hard as any of them. But before, he never had stopping or knocking out anyone in mind. It was just a box, as he normally boxes. And I mentioned on another interview, I watched the first Wilder fight last time, and it was frustrating to watch because the openings was there, and he just wasn't doing anything. The openings was there, and he'd do a shovo. Frustrating. But now he's actually got bad intentions. He's not going to be fighting anyone anymore for a points decision. He's a big man. He's necking the 19 stone, 6'9". Listen, and he can box, but he also can go to town as well. So I think you're going to see from here on out, you're going to see a lot more of that. And I don't think that's the reason that he can't do what he used to do before, because he's always got that. but he's with a trainer now who only trains knockouts. You know, he only trains for a knockout. So
So can we expect a
so
knockout?
yeah, definitely. But in the same manner, he might hit someone before he got with Sugar 5 times, and he might not get hit none. Or 25 times, he might get hit none. You know, this, he's hitting someone. He's hitting them at will, really. He's hitting them regular with hard shots. So you're gonna when you put yourself out there to do that, you are gonna get caught more. So listen, it works out for an entertaining job for the fans, but I think he's gonna do all right.
What do you make of Wilder's comments that this time when he hits Tyson ain't going to get up? I think he was referring to the second knockdown in the first fight. What do you make of them comments that this time that Wilder's going to hit him and Tyson isn't going to get back up?
Yeah, well, listen, we ain't. We're thoroughly aware of that. He's capable of it, but it is boxing, and you have got to land it. And it's not that easy to land on a world-class man. What's better on you? So if he lands it, fair play to him. But that's the only chance he has. And I've watching these fights, and I'm just. There's no chance he can do anything. And there is. There's that one chance, and that he is capable of that. But barring that, listen, there's no way. Listen, if Tyson fought 100 times, he might do that, pull that out. And that's the odds I'd give him, really. But I think if he was going to beat me, he'd beat me in the first fight, and he was nowhere near doing that, barring the one punch. But again, anything can happen, heavyweight boxing.
This is the final chapter then, this is it. This is the last fight. We ain't going to see no fourth fight and stuff like that. If it's a controversial draw, this is what the chapter, this is the final chapter of this book between Wilder and Fury Wilder. This is it done. Whoever wins this one, that's it done.
Yeah, I didn't want this fight, well, I know I didn't. I wasn't not interested. I thought it was going to be a big fight with Joshua and that. For me, he's not completed Tyson. He's near on completed the game, but he hasn't yet. There was one more person. There was one more person to beat, and that was Joshua, the biggest fight ever. But now he's been beat. He's got to beat Usyk if he gets past this, or when he gets past this. But we ain't looking past anyone. You know, people ask us Tyson about boxing and so on. He says, "Listen, we're not interested in anything else but Wilder." And I've heard a few people on the internet saying, "Oh, he might not be taking him serious. He's not training. His lifestyle out of camp and all that." Tyson never train hard. He always trains hard for every fight. Sometimes, years ago, he used to be a stupid idiot out of the camps. But even back then, he was a when he was in camp, there was no better trainer or anything, you know.
We've seen the videos. I think we can see on social media and stuff like that, and some of the video clips that when you do see Tyson in the gym, you can see that he does work extremely hard and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've never come across anyone what works as hard as him, especially for the size. For me, what I've seen of heavyweights, it's normally like the bigger they are, the more lazy they are, and the more less they want to do. With him, he wants to push himself, which is a weakness sometimes. You've got to hold him back. But listen, there's no worries about not taking anyone serious or anything like that, because Wilder's a man to be took serious. And if you don't take him serious, you're a fool.
You did mention the Joshua and Usyk fight. I'm guessing as a boxing fan you did watch that. What were your thoughts on it? Were you surprised, or did you think that this was a tough fight for Joshua? What was your initial thoughts, and what were your thoughts of the fight?
Yeah, well, first of all, we all wanted him to win for obvious reasons. But I had a little bet on it. That I could see. I couldn't see a way how Joshua could win. And I thought about, and the more I was thinking about, the more I was thinking a clear-cut win for Usyk. But there's always a factor like in heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. But I was surprised of the game plan he went in with.
I think everyone was. Yeah.
But I think again, in my opinion, I've heard lots of people, which I've already said in different interviews, but I've heard lots of people come up with the conspiracy of playing possum with Chisora that he was playing around to get this fight. Well, sounds good, but I just think the Chisora can set his level at a certain pace and he can stick at that. A big, strong 18.5 stone man running forward at you. It's going to be hard. There's no tippy-tack boxing because he's walking through you. So I just think that was just a stylistic fight that was always going to be hard with him. He'd have another fight with him and he'd be hard with him.
Yeah. But on that, do you think he can win the rematch if there is a rematch between the two of them? Joshua, yeah?
No. I said it. I said my advice if I was involved with him would be to take time off. Have probably 4 or 5 more fights, rebuild the confidence, and get back in there. And with his confidence high, he's good enough to beat anyone. But the way he is, for me, and this is me, an armchair talker, which is a plonker, really. But you're asking me opinion. I'm telling you, for me, get your wins, build your confidence up, and come back. The wins, the 5 fights, you're going to be selling out wherever you're going to be boxing. So it's not going to be a small. Idiots will give him a hard time and fools. But no matter what you do, you're going to get a hard time. People who know boxing will understand what he's doing. And like you say, he's 32. You know, if he wants to box till 37, there's plenty of time. He could have 5 fights in 18 months. 2 years, and he's back full of confidence. At the minute, he looks a shell of himself. He looks gun shy. Listen, for me, if he comes back, he'll be beat, and fairly easy. And the reason why he'll be beat is because, again, I've said it on another interview, the reason why he'll be beat, because the way to beat him, you need the gas in order to stick at a certain pace. People are saying, oh, you got to go forward and bullet, but he can do that, and he's probably the best at that for a round or two. But once that's done, once he puts a burst on, it's well publicised that he needs time off. Yeah. He needs to recover. It might take him 2 rounds, it might take him 3 rounds. What happens after then? Because if you're gassing and breathing out your ass, a man what's as good as the other fella, what don't gas, he's stopping you. Yeah. So I think again. I think his trainers actually knew what they was dealing with. A lot of people saying wrong game plan, but probably his trainers got him through the fight without getting knocked out. Because if they would have said what we would have said, because we're only rookies, we've wear our heart on the sleeve and just go with it. And if you do it. If not, you lose trying. But we would have said, get out there and guns blazing, do the best you can. But they must have thought he's better off trying to win this way than blowing a gasket and getting stopped. So I think they've done that for a reason, to get him through the fight, because they knew it. Listen, they know the fighter. They've seen him spar in the gym. And that's what I believe. But that's only an opinion. And he might punch me in the face when he sees me, if he watches it.
Don't think he will. Another one for you, and I'm glad you mentioned the Usyk fight and Joshua fight. And we all wanted to see Tyson versus Joshua, but this puts Tyson if he gets through Saturday, in a sort of funny position, because if Usyk does face Joshua in his rematch, where does Tyson go? There is now talks White, well, not talks, but I've heard some people talk about White, if he beats Wallen, maybe the Usyk rematch with Joshua can go on, and then maybe Tyson can face Dillian White. Is that something that your team has talked about?
Yeah, well, from here on out, me personally, I wouldn't like to see Tyson in any easy fights. I only want to see him fight the biggest names, and whoever the biggest names is at the time, that's who. To fight White, again, and my opinion and prediction of the White, I don't think he's getting through Wallen. And that's nothing on White. Again, I know White from years ago, and we had a good relationship. And whatever shite's been going on with Tyson and him, it is what it is. I've got to sell the fight. But I think he couldn't have picked an harder opponent. Just because he's a southpaw, which is awkward for anyone. he can box. He's an inventional boxer. Like he's a jab, move, slipping his head, move from side to side. But most of all, he's a southpaw what can move his feet. So for me, it's especially for me, it's going to be a very hard fight. And he showed in when he fought Tyson that he's got a pair of nuts himself. Because I know he gets a lot of credit off of Tyson and so on, but he got a 12 round.
He's won every fight since Tyson, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a 12 round. He had a 12 round, like a knockdown really, a 12 round beating Wallen. But he was in the fight and he cut Tyson. So that's what he's famous for. But in that fight, he showed that he had a pair of nuts and he's not going to fold. So my prediction would be, if the odds are good enough, I might have a little bet on Wallen to outpoint him, fairly comfortable, wide points decision.
You're probably the first one I've spoke to that said that, to be honest, Shane. I don't think many people, a lot of people obviously, I think it might just have their...
But I want White to win. Not because, I like him and so on. Listen, I want him to win because it's a big fight in Britain, and I can't be coming over here every time. I'd like a fight at home.
This is the home of the Gypsy King, though, Tyson keeps saying.
I'm sick of it. He's not the home of me. So I'd like a fight in a big stadium, and he's the fight to do it. So I hope he wins, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. But if I had my last £10, I'd be putting on Wallen, and that's fact for them reasons only.
There you go. Well, I might be a better man. You might give me a little tip there. Now Usyk, though, he's now got all the belts. I know Tyson, he doesn't care about belts. He said on numerous occasions, but is Tyson the man to beat Usyk? Some people are saying Usyk's the boogeyman in the heavyweight division, but a lot of people I said after the fight with Joshua, that the guys I interviewed are saying that the only person that can beat Usyk is Tyson Fury. I'm guessing you echo that sentiment.
Tyson's got his work cut out with Usyk. There's two ways it can go with Usyk. Very easy fight where Tyson just bullies him to death and bashes him to pieces over 12 rounds and stops him, because Tyson's more capable of that. Or a very hard fight, what can go either way for me. But obviously I back Tyson with anyone. But Usyk's, again, if he was take the southpaw stance out the situation, it wouldn't be a fight. But because he's a southpaw, it's a threat.
You don't get many southpaw heavyweights.
No, but it would be a good fight. But it could be an easy fight for Tyson to club him to pieces, and Tyson is an unreal dogfighter, and in a 10-foot ring or however size 20-foot ring, it's going to be hard to keep him off for 12 rounds. But I'd say it'd be a good boxing match as well.
Yeah, good for the fans.
Do you know, probably if Tyson was 6'3" in the same weight as him, I'd pick Usyk more than likely. But Tyson's not. He's 6'9" and 19 stone, and got a big pair of nuts and a good heart, a good engine, can punch, strong, and wants to win. So, yeah, it'd be a good fight once it happens. But again, he's not completed the game until he beats Usyk now. But he needs to get past
Wilder. Yeah, definitely. And you're not looking past Wilder now. I mean, we just spoke about the heavyweight division. It's an exciting division again. I mean, it's got like back in the 80s when it was an exciting division, the heavyweight division. It's good, isn't it?
There's no up and comers. There's only one up and comer. What I would rate. The fighters now, they're all at level. They're all a good age, and they're there. But I don't really know many up and comers, barring Jared Anderson, and he's a top fighter.
The heavyweight's on. Is it? Who's fighting Sanchez as well? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Drogba,
yeah, a good man.
Yeah. He's David Adelaide and Dubois back home as well. They're young and up and coming heavyweights. Yeah.
Dubois got to rate Dubois as well. But Jared Anderson, I think he's going to take over boxing once Tyson's done with it.
There you go. There's another prediction from Shane Fury there.
Listen, what I'm seeing, and it's actually not what I'm seeing in the boxing. It's what I'm seeing. One, he's getting battered. He's coming back, and he's throwing his own, and he don't care. And you can hit him with a lump hammer. He's not bothered. He's got a pair of nuts, and I don't think you can teach that, and you're not going to learn it or not going to develop it. I think you're born with it, and that's my opinion. But that's my opinion.
Well, listen, you've made some bold predictions there. I might have to go to the bookies and put some bets on with your predictions and hopefully win some money.
I'm hoping wrong because obviously White. I know White from a few years back, and we always gone on all right. And I hope I'm wrong, but it's an opinion. I don't think he could have fought an harder fight. I don't know who's managing it, but it's a very stupid fight.
Tough. It definitely is a tough fight. Now back to this fight here. It's a massive fight this weekend. Can I get one final prediction from you? Fury versus Wilder 3.
What I'm saying to Tyson, it's I'm predicting. I hope I'm wrong again. I'm predicting the most entertaining fight out of the three of them, both ways. But I'm predicting a one-side beatdown, and it's not going to be pretty. A one-sided beatdown. Body, head, elbows, a lot. You think he's a dirty fighter and a cheater? You're probably going to be in this one. He's gonna rag him up and down like a rag doll, and he's not going to be able to stand up to it. He's not. In two of the fights, it's been very cut clean, jib jabbing. I know Tyson was doing his job, big punches last time, but it's been very cut clean, nice boxing. This fight's I think Tyson's gonna dog him, and I think he's gonna stop it. I think Wilder's gonna wish he was out there, probably take a dive because he's gonna be in that deeper water. That's my prediction.
Listen, that's another prediction. I'm going to run to the bookies, and everything you've said here, the predictions you've made, I'm going to put a bet on them, see if they all come true.
Some of them come right, but most of them come wrong. But if you don't have a go, you never do it. But
there you go. Exactly. Well, Shane, thank you so much for this Fightful TV, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you, Shane.